What's up YouTube, James Polk here. At the time recording of this video, it's Christmas Day, so obviously happy Christmas Day to everyone. And as for the profile to showcase, before I go for the explanation, as of last month, when they first heard about getting the fairy tale support, a very small amount that is, it made me think, you know what? Let's go for a little Familiar-Dogmatika control and see how this particular deck setup works. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, Familiar-Dogmatika control. Let's get to it. So that would be Familiar Possessed. 4 of them, 1 each. Basic attributes as the 1850 beaters. And then 2 Lunas, not 3, because for one, I definitely do not want to overdrawn into them. At the same time, the familiar possessed monsters are searchable, as well as another copy of Luna, which helps you get the facilitate going. And then speaking of facilitating, this is another card that supports the 1850. That would be Awakening of the Possessed. So when it comes to a spellcaster monster, or monsters, more than one, whose original attack of 1850 is normal or special, it lets you draw 1 card. And as a side note, Charmer and Familiars possessed monsters that I control don't die by effects, and on top of that, monsters gain 300 attack for each different attribute that I control. So the more attributes, the bigger the power. And then 2 Ecclesias, spellcaster with 1500 defense to synergize with the possessed partnerships, which I'll show you in a jiff. And again, in this version of the deck is where you definitely do not want to activate Ecclesias effects on your turn, because getting locked out of the extra deck, it's not a good sign, and you're pretty much going to slip yourself to take away the advantage if needed to. But unless if I was pretty much forced to go first after winning the die roll, then you can actually use Ecclesias effects in case of awkward hands, for one. And then the 2 Dogmatika punishments, of course, searchable from Ecclesia, nothing else to say. And then Injection Fairy Lily, spellcaster with 1500 defense, pretty good to take care of boss monsters if needed to. And then the 3 possessed partnerships, along with the 1 unpossessed. And then for the animals, 2 each ofs, the Nefarious, Inari Fire, 2 Gigabyte, and 2 Renryu. And then to get your animals out faster from deck to hand, Grand Spiritual Art Ichirin. So obviously, search style all from Terraforming, nothing else to say about it. So when it comes to the Grand Spiritual Art, if you happen to control a spellcaster monster whose defense is 1500, the first time a monster effect will activate by your opponent, it doesn't care where. When it comes to reaching the resolution, that monster's effects would end up getting negated. And then you can reveal 1 spellcaster with 15 defense from your hand to search off 1 of the 4 pets that matches the attribute. So basically, say like for example, if you revealed the Earth, you pretty much get Nefarious from deck to hand, and then you put the Earth Familiar Possessed back into the deck, just so that you wouldn't be able to overdraw it. And then on top of that, again, you can always get it back off from Luna in terms of consistency at its finest. And then the 4 big bricks, the Awakening of the Possessed monsters. Nothing more, nothing less, 1 each ofs. And then for the spells, the limited staples, And then the Pot of Avarice. And 3 Dark Ruler No More, along with triple Evenly Matched. And that is because you're going second. And if you guys notice, I still don't play Spirit Charmers. To me, personally, that card is not very good due to the fact that after the discard effect, if I were to get hit by that Ash Blossom, then I straight up lose advantage. And then my opponent would pretty much end up gaining ground, gaining control of the matchup in terms of hand advantage, field advantage, and the board presence. So I rather have the Awakening of the Possessed Monsters to do the work for me in terms of searching out the spell traps, just so that even if I were to get hit with the Ash, it's either a -1 or break even. And then extra deck, 2 Osas, 2 Hitas, 2 Arias, and 2 Win. And then Celine, Spellcaster with 1850, synergizes with the Awakening of the Possessed spell, which is pretty good. And then Axis Code Talker, you got too many links with different attributes, which is really relevant. And then the Go Second Instant Fusions. That would be the likes of Winda, Thousand Eyes Restrict, and Mud Dragon of the Swamp. So these 3 in particular, first off, best card in the extra deck by far, Mud Dragon of the Swamp. Mud Dragon is basically where he accesses you anything and everything in terms of Awakening of the Possessed Monsters or the Charmer Links by changing the attributes in case if you can't get to one of the combo pieces. Thousand Eyes Restrict for removal, which is pretty good, and gain some attack boost if planning to go for that route. And on top of that, if you're ever in a position where if you were to maintain control of Thousand Eyes, this is the part where other monsters everywhere on the field, they cannot attack or change their battle positions. And then Winda, that is for comboing it off with Celine, especially where on my opponent's turn, if I have enough spell counters off from Celine, remove the 3, revive Winda, and then after that 1 special summon by the opponent, they're pretty much stuck with their current board the way it is now. And then the 2 Antis Dogmatika Punishment. And with that being said, this is James Polk on the Familiar-Dogmatika control profile. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Catch you next time, and Happy Christmas to everyone.